And what I want to offer today is about building a intentional relationship with our home, and particularly with our things. As we speak, there's a new fire in LA. It's 2025, a new fire has sprung. It's already 10,000 acres in like less than 12 hours. It is not funny, but I can't not laugh. That's my form of release. And I spent all of last week volunteering at various distribution centers, and we were flooded with donations, with unused or with unwanted clothes that people were donating to victims of this fire, in hopes that it was needed, and that was their way of contributing to this mass disastrous event that we really feel powerless in the face of. But these distribution centers were overloaded with unwanted things. Used underwear, used socks, dirty shoes. Like, I want to work on preventing this accumulation of excess stuff in our home. I spend so much time just like moving things from here to there, hanging them up and taking them off. So much time. It is such a waste of resources, of financial resources, of ecological resources. We need to be different. There's all these brands coming out that are sustainable brands, and I think, but that's really feeding into consumption. Solar panels, electric cars, sustainable brands are so expensive, and they're not a root cause solution. If we go beneath that to what's a bit more causing that, is consumerism. And there's so many things beneath that maybe I'd explore another time, of like, what is the emotional, why do we need to consume? What are we trying to provide for by clicking by and needing new things? But that's not for today. We're going to talk about consumerism. The fashion industry is one of the leading contributors to climate change. Millions of pounds of clothing go into the landfill, get shipped abroad to pollute other countries. All the resources it took to produce that, the resources it took to distribute it to the stores, the resources, your time and money it took to purchase them, the resources it took to have Goodwill, process these garments, the resources to ship them to another country, to landfill them, and then when it's in the landfill, all of the pollution. It is beyond. Anyways, well, you guys don't really need to know all that. You probably know it already. I'm going to walk through a process of what you can do to create more intimacy with your space and more intentionality with what you have in your space. Home is my altar. It's the place I get to lay my body down, to rest, to feed it, to cuddle, to just decompress, to be creative, to move, to build family and home. It is an altar, it is sacred, and I want to treat everything that I have in my home in that way. But yeah, things and paring down is a very emotional process. And so a tool I recommend to start the process is the Artist Way's, adapted from the Artist Way, their morning pages. And before you even start contemplating step one of what you should do, the top of every day in which you're actually paring things down, I recommend doing 3 8.5 by 11 handwritten pages, stream of consciousness pages of just whatever's coming up. It doesn't even need to be around home tending. This just helps clean you of the gunk of the residue of your day and your emotions and just what she said and what happened at work, and just clean it off so we can get to a deeper level and act and behave from that resourced place, from that calmer place, and that everything we do that comes from that place, we will do better than if we do it before some sort of emotional processing or release process, which can be meditation, it can be exercise. There's so many things, but what I recommend is this 3 pages of writing exercise, and then you answer the question, what do you want your space to feel like? How do you want your space to function? And just do a free-handed, just a few minutes. It could be 5 lines, or maybe 1 minute, as little as possible. 1 minute max of what do you want your space to feel like, and how do you want it to function? And that is your North Star. Everything we do reflects back to that initial question and vision. And after that, where I recommend you start is using permaculture language is your zone 0, which means the zone in your home where you spend the most time. It's my perspective of where you should start. Cleaning up your space, organizing it, making sure everything is intentional, because once you have one space, the space you utilize the most, cleansed and bringing to life your vision of what you want the space to be like, it's just going to be inspiration for every other space. So start at zone 0, at this where you spend the most time. It might be your bedroom, but it might be your office, it might be your kitchen. You decide. You have to do that assessment of where do you spend the most time in your day, in your week, in your month. Start there. A little burp. And then what you do in that space can be applicable to what you do in every other space. You, as Marie Kondo says, start with whatever's in your space that's the least sentimental. Both the least sentimental and that takes up the most space. So a permaculture principle there is littlest action for the biggest effect. Where I would start, could be like empty boxes, or if you have a bin full of old shoe boxes, or maybe you're like winter jackets and snowsuits that are taking up a few suitcases full of space, but you live in LA, that kind of thing. It doesn't have sentimental value, and it would be a big shift you'd cause in a little bit of time. So that's where I recommend you start. And you have to sit down and order then, what are the kinds of things you have in your space, and put in order of what's most sentimental to least sentimental. And in parallel, what's the biggest effect, the littlest work for the biggest change, start there. And all of that is, again, practice for narrowing it down as you go. And I recommend going category by category. Empties, winter stuff. Then you could do clothes. At the end, I would do photos, sentimentals, paperwork. I'd also do later because it is such detailed work that doesn't take up that much space. So it's something you can do later. So just go category by category. You can do a miscellaneous category, but try to go category by category. And once you're inside the category, let's talk about clothes, for example. I would get everything in that category and put it in your staging area, your flat, empty space where you can throw all this stuff and start sorting stuff in that space. Tops, pants, belts, hats, just in that category. And you lift up You take your pair of jeans, you hold it in your hand, and like Marie Kondo says, you know, you're like, does this spark joy? Does this match with the goal of what I want my space to feel like? If I want my space to feel earthy, I lift up a piece, I'm like, does this feel earthy? Does this feel grounding? Does this feel functional for, is it functional for what I need the space to be? If yes, you put your yes pile. If no, no pile. That's it. And you go through everything. And so you start with your least sentimental because it's going to be easy. It's going to build the muscle of letting things go. I've had the unfortunate experience of over purging my space. So there's things I let go of that I really wish I hadn't. And now what I tell myself is if I don't, like, this piece does not connect to where I am right now and I'm ready to let it go. But if it's a high quality piece or it has family value, I'll keep it for now. I'm not gonna save that $10 shirt I got from the thrift store, but maybe the pantsuit that my mom's kept for decades that was still in good condition but she never wore anymore, maybe I would have said, let's keep that because now I want to wear it. So sad. So you're gonna have some qualifiers like that, and that's okay. This is not a perfect process. It might be an iterative. It might be you have a first go, first pass at it all now, and then you do it regularly for every 6 months until you've pared down your space. This is a slow process. You don't need to do anything you're not ready for. Be gentle with yourself. It's an emotional process, which is why we're doing our morning pages regularly. Chat up a friend anytime you need. Call somebody in to do this work with you. It's an emotional process. It's okay for it to bring up emotions. Just give space to process them. Once you have your piles of like what you're gonna keep and what you're gonna get rid of, you'll get rid of stuff. You can put in a bag or a box and set it aside, and I'll talk to you about what we'll do with those donates or those get rid of. But the stuff you're gonna keep, put it away for now in the place that makes the most sense. Hang it up in the way that feels the most functional to you, the most beautiful to you. You don't need to buy any new storage. The goal is not to have new storage spaces. If you buy storage and you have storage, you're going to find something to fill it with. So less storage, the better. Hang it up. If this is our clothes, we'll hang it up in a way that feels beautiful to you. You might want to color code it. You might want it to be summer, winter, clothes, whatever works for you. I follow Marie Kondo's way, and you can look at her resources to find what that looks like. And take a step back and look at what you've accomplished and appreciate yourself every step of the way. Now I'm getting a little flustered because this is what happens when you don't prepare. I want this to be an easy process for you that makes sense. But I don't have it quite so articulated step by step, or maybe I do. Maybe I just need to write it out. Okay, what are we doing next? Then go category by category and do that same process. And just, I trust you, and I trust your mind, and I trust your sense of what you're ready to let go of, what you want to keep. I trust you. This is a personal process. Just creating a scaffolding that allows you to guide you in the process. But this is a personal process. You get to do it your way. I trust you. And I trust what you want your space to look like and to feel like. And I'm proud of you This is hard work. I'm really, really proud of you. Pro tips. Pinterest can be a little bit dangerous because it could lead to unrealistic ideals, but it can also be helpful to get your creative juices rolling of what you want your space to look like. I have a Pinterest board for what I want my aesthetic, my style to look like, and it's really, really helpful. And you pin something where you are like, this is everything I see, I 100% would want to replicate. And you put, pins, have 20 to 50 pins. And then you can find the trends within there. And you're like, wow, I really see in almost all of these pictures, I have linen bed sheets. So maybe you consider purchasing linen bed sheets if that's what really feels aligned for you and that would enhance your space. Or changing your sheets to a color that you already have in your pantry, in your linen cabinet. Asking your friends if they have something. If you're missing something from your repertoire in your space that you feel like really could add to the aesthetic and allow your home to fulfill your purpose, don't be shy to bring it in. This is about, this whole process is that the things that you have and the things that you bring in are aligned with your North Star of what you want the space to feel like and function like. So you have this pile of get rid ofs. It's important for you to do an inventory of which of these resources you actually have available in the place that you live. And kind of my perspective is there is no trash. There is no this is going away. You send stuff to the thrift store. A huge percentage of that stuff, depending on the thrift store, ends up getting sent to the landfill, potentially in America or elsewhere. This is not going away. What you have here is going to be in production or take up space in this world for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of millions, whatever, of years. So it's important to be conscious about where all of this is going. I would say first, what is the zone 0, the zone 1 of your life? Who's in your immediate network that you could share this bounty with? Who lives in your home? Who are your closest friends? Who are your neighbors? Who's in your new moon circle? Organize a clothing swap for folks to come and see what you have. Invite friends over for tea and have them rummage through what you have, with the caveat you invite them also to do the exercises that we did at the beginning, the morning pages and then the visioning. You invite them to do that and only to take in items that really match that for them. So that would be kind of what I would do first, is who's in your immediate network. Then get on to Buy Nothing. There's a Buy Nothing app. You can do Buy Nothing groups on Facebook. You post what you have and you see who wants it. Post the things that make sense that somebody would actually want. If you have stained t-shirt or whatever, like no one wants that. But if you have a garment that you just isn't functional for you anymore, but it could be well loved again, see who wants it. Those are the 2 things I would do before you then do step 3 or 4. Step 3 would be, what shelters are there in your area who are asking for specific donations of things? A lot of places will accept nicer clothes, blankets, scarves, maybe even books, things like that, that they will give directly to the people that they serve. There's so many shelters in so many different cities, and if they're asking for specific things, you know that they're going to use it, and that you've cleaned it and you've sorted your stuff, so you're giving them a donation that is well taken care of, that you can feel prideful that you're actually going to gift to somebody else in need, and that you can use that know while you're doing your discernment process of what you want to keep or give away. You can know that the things you're giving away are going to go to a good home. It helps in your process. We often keep things because we feel a scarcity, like what if we need it, but if you know that somebody else needs it right now, you kind of can give with more generosity and more dignity, and break out of that scarcity mentality that's keeping us holding on to things far longer than we need them. So yeah, step one, who's in your immediate network that you can give away? Can you organize a clothing swap? 2, buy nothing groups. 3, actually I would probably rotate these. Anyways, you can use your own mind, you're smart. What shelters do you have locally? And then 4, I want to tell you about this really cool company called Sway, based in LA, where you can buy a bag, basically like a trash bag full, for $20, and you can either take it there directly or ship it. I would recommend this for people not that far away, but you can ship it, and they will upcycle 100% of what is donated to you. 100%. 0 of that is going to the landfill. They make amazing blankets and cool clothes and like tents made out of old jackets and a car cover made out of bikinis. It's super cool, and it's just like a different way of treating our unwanted clothes. That's a great way to send old stuff that has holes that nobody else will want, but you don't want it to just go to the trash. And then the next stuff, you guys know. There are thrift stores, there are vintage stores, there are textile recycling centers, there's those little bins where you can recycle your textiles, check if your city accepts textile recycling. All of those steps are just helpful. There's a slight chance that stuff won't end in the landfill, but most likely it will. So it's better to try all these steps ahead, and don't think this is a waste of time. You don't have the time for it. We do have the time for it, because the emotional, you doing something well and intentional, giving your well-loved items to somebody you know and love, knowing that your clothes or your scraps or your extra pots or your art supplies are going somewhere where they're going to be well loved again, is only a support to your process. You have time for this. You do. You have time, and always ask for support. You can always ask for help. It's going to be faster than you think, I promise. And you can post and you can comment what are the tactics that you use to give your items a new life. Share that, resource the community with that. Is that everything? That was really the process for one space. That's replicable for all your spaces in your home. Again, I would start with the one space. Marie Kondo does category by category, so you do your whole house, but that is so much time investment. But it might be the most sustainable choice if you have that kind of time, like if you're recently unemployed or recently retired, or you're a stay-at-home parent. Try that. look at Marie Kondo's work. I recommend you go through the house and do category by category rather than room by room. But I want to offer you a more bite-sized process for your zone 0 that you can learn, build the muscle, the discernment muscle, and really set up one space that's kind of the North Star of your project. And then you can use all of that learnings and apply it elsewhere. Small steps, small incremental steps that get us to a home of quality over quantity, both because it nourishes ourself and it saves us time and it feels so good to be in, and it's better for the environment. We're way less likely to buy stuff we don't want or don't need or won't last if we see that our space is a sanctuary. You're not going to want to add in that cheapo whatever that you're ordering off of Amazon. You're going to want to make much more intentional choices. And I'm gonna think I'd make another video about how to buy less in general, but this is my musings on space tending, and that's a wrap. I believe in you. You got this. You're so smart. You're so smart and you're so good. You're a good person, and I'm really proud of you for facing this process. It's not easy, and feel free to journal and call a friend along the way. Love you.